Welcome to The Funnel. My name is John Shane. I'm president of Alignment Group. This is episode number 250 of The Funnel. How healthy is your sales team's pipeline? Before we begin, I want to remind you to head on over to alignment-group.com/The Funnel. Subscribe and we will send you the show notes weekly. Not only to The Funnel, but we'll send you that week's blog posts. And we do 2 blog posts a week and 2 podcasts. Also, just a reminder that new subscribers get a free coaching call. Today's agenda: gauge my health, pipeline velocity, and the beauty of pipeline velocity. So I would view this podcast as a continuation of the sales metrics discussion. This is the third one. Last week or last podcast, we talked about some of the more important sales metrics that I would suggest that you track. This is related strictly to the pipeline, and I think you'll find it interesting. If you haven't already seen this, it's some good stuff, and I think it can help you be a better manager. So gauge my health. So really what I'm talking about here with the pipeline is you want to know what's working, okay, with your pipeline management. We talked about meetings and pipeline meetings versus forecast meetings and all of that stuff and how it's set up, okay? You want to track prospects. You're tracking everything, goals, quota, okay? You're really trying to track the deals and the stages they're in the pipeline. Do I have enough deals individually to drive my number? Do I have enough deals collectively as a team to drive my number? Get ahead of the problem. Really what you want to do with pipeline management is get ahead of it before it becomes an issue. Make sure it's strong enough to handle what can be the ups and downs of business, what can be the ups and downs of individuals. If you have a problem with an individual area, can I make up for it somewhere else while I'm trying to solve this problem? Or maybe I recognize the problem before it becomes too big and too out of control. It makes my revenue predictable. Good pipeline management makes my revenue predictable. And that's what I'm after here. Predictable revenue. There's a book called Predictable Revenue. I'm not stealing from them, but these are the folks that started the Salesforce sales team, wrote a book called Predictable Revenue. It's very good. But what I'm talking about here is predicting the outcomes when you get to your forecast, you really know what business you have. And you know behind you in the pipeline is plenty to keep you going next month, next quarter, the following quarter, whatever it is. So it's all about the health and well-being of your pipeline. So let's talk about pipeline velocity. Pipeline velocity really is a way for you to determine where you are at any given time in your pipeline. Okay? It's actually a nice little way of mastering the pipeline and understanding each individual piece of the pipeline so you can predict the kind of revenue your company is going to produce, or your sales rep or your sales team. Now, the inaccurate data that's in there needs to be taken out. So you need good quality data. So you have to make that a priority first. You have to do that first. Okay? The velocity is going to tell you about where you are in a deal. So how many qualified opportunities do I have? And how fast can I close those opportunities? So it looks at qualified opportunities, your win rate, and we talked about that in the last podcast, the size of the deal, the average deal size, and how long it takes to close a deal. So basically, you're taking the number of opportunities, you're multiplying it by the win rate, you're multiplying that by the average deal size, and then you're dividing it by the sales cycle. Those are the 4 pieces of the velocity. Okay? And that's going to give you great insight into where you are in the process. It can be interpreted in a couple of different ways. Dollars. You're looking at the output here. You're looking at what it's going to do for you. You're looking at all of these 4 components. That's going to tell you the speed at which your deals are going to come through. That's going to tell you the health and well-being of your pipeline. So again, the data needs to be right. I can't stress this enough. When it comes to velocity, it cannot be stressed enough that the data needs to be right. So the qualified opportunities, it has to be the maximum number of opportunities in your pipeline that are going to close within the time frame that you're measuring. So it needs to be right. Make sure you understand what a qualified opportunity is. What's the overall win rate? I would start with the sales team and then work with individuals. You know, if you know your win rate and you know how many deals are in there, you know what it's going to take to be successful. So now you're looking at win rate and you're saying, okay, I've got the win rate. I've got the qualified opportunities. I know the average deal size of the closed in one because I've done the numbers on that. And we know in the kind of the rule of thumb here, smaller deals move faster than larger deals. People say that, but I think it depends. Sometimes if you're dealing with very small companies, that could be a big deal to them. So just be careful with that sort of philosophy. $10,000 to a small company might be a big deal versus another company that $30,000 is a big deal or is a small deal. You understand what I mean? So deal size is important. Understanding your deal size, your average deal size here. And then how long does it take to close? I want to know, are they pushing stuff through the pipeline? Is it slowing down? Are they converting in the stages? So you need to know how long your sales cycle is, okay? So here's what happens. You run the numbers on the sales pipeline velocity, right? It's a simple number to run. And I might even just try it out for giggles, even if I'm not sure that the data is 100% correct. See where you end up. But I'm going to tell you the beauty of the pipeline velocity. This is where it gets to be fun, okay? If you have regular meetings on your pipeline meeting, and you do, and you're measuring the velocity, it can be overwhelming for some folks. They can look at that and say, well, we're not going to drive enough business. Oh, my goodness. The numbers don't bear out what we need here. You're right. Maybe it doesn't. But here's the cool part about the pipeline velocity. It's fixable. It's fixable. Not only is it fixable, but all you have to do is fix one of the 4 components and you can improve performance. So let's say your average deal size is kind of small and your win rate's not as good, and the sales cycle is okay. And you just don't have enough open opportunities, right? You just don't have enough opportunities. What if you put more opportunities in the pipeline? Even if you didn't fix the other part, boom, you have instant performance improvement. Run the numbers. Do the math. Run the formula. Then go back and say, you can build this in a spreadsheet. What happens if I increase the number of open opportunities? All of a sudden, my pipeline velocity goes up. Okay. Wow. That's awesome. So what this does is it gives you the opportunity to, and this is the term that folks use, eat the elephant one bite at a time. You don't have to have this big change in everything you do. You only have to change one thing at a time. So what does that do for you? Well, depending on the rep, right? Let's say you did each individual rep and they have different individual areas of concern. Well, heck, you can put your coaching plan, you have your coaching plan together. You can put a plan together to improve win rate for Sally, and you can improve the average sales cycle for Bill, right? So those 4 components can be addressed individually. If it's a whole team thing where we just don't have enough opportunities, then we need to figure out how to get more opportunities in the pipeline. This is all done in the pipeline meeting. Okay. Most people sit in pipeline and forecast meetings, they merge them to one, and they talk about what they're going to close within the next week or the next month. That's how it works. This is really about looking at the pipeline from a higher level and dealing with it one-on-one and in the overall. If I can increase that rate and I can keep the pipeline nice and clean and tight, I can drive business. So if you have a pipeline opportunity meeting or a pipeline meeting, this is where you fix this. Okay? And look, I'm giving you the podcast version of this. This can get wide and deep, and there's a lot of things that you can do to manage your pipeline and make your pipeline better. Okay? So I'm giving you part of it. Maybe there is a ton of opportunities in there, but they're not good opportunities. The leads aren't right. The reps are just throwing, really bad opportunities into the pipeline. Okay, that's a whole nother story. We have too many opportunities here. These aren't good, and we're chasing things we shouldn't be chasing. So we need to fix that. But if you have a comprehensive view of your pipeline and you can see all of those different components, you can make really good judgments on what to do next. You can take little bites and small improvements, a little at a time, and fix it. So you want qualified opportunities in there. You don't want just numbers. And you just make a little small improvement to that and boom, things get better. Maybe they're closing more deals, their win rate goes up. Converting hey, Sally, if you convert X% more, you're going to increase your number of one deal. You're going to increase your numbers significantly. And we're putting better opportunities in the pipeline. I hope this is making sense to you. And I can do, if I get feedback on this, we can do some deeper dives into the pipeline velocity process and help you navigate those waters. Just let me know. Reach out to me. But what I like about this is that you don't have to put this big program together. You can do it a little at a time. It's not a requirement to overhaul the whole system. You can really get a good bird's eye view of what's happening, and I do it as a whole first, then individually, and say, okay, this is where we're really breaking down. Our win rate's not, everything else is pretty decent. Our win rate's not good. So I'm putting up on the screen for the video viewers just what the formula looks like. Opportunities times win rate times average deal size divided by average sales cycle. Okay, it's that simple. It's a pretty simple formula for managing pipeline velocity. And the idea here is, as a manager, 1, make sure the data is right. 2, get a good bird's eye view of what's going on with your team. 3, attack the overall, if that's the problem. If it's opportunities for everybody, attack the overall a little at a time, or look at individuals and deal with it in your pipeline meetings and coaching sessions. The individual areas of concern: win rate, sales cycle. Some people, they just drag out the sales cycle. Okay, well, we have the meeting and then it's hard to get everybody back together. Well, here's a dirty little secret: set the next meeting up before you end this meeting. Set the stage before you even start down the road with them. Here's how it's going to work with us. Miss or Mr. Prospect, this is what we're going to do. We're going to meet. We're going to respect each other. We're going to make our meeting times. And at the end of this meeting, blah, 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 blah. At any time, if we don't fit, you can go through the whole sort of thing, but lay it out ahead of time. Maybe that's your problem. I don't know. I'm kind of digressing here. But the point is you can deal with individual areas very easily. I sound a little excited about it because I am. I think it's awesome. I'm not sure why I didn't do a podcast on this before. And maybe I took it for granted. Subscribe to The Funnel, alignment-group.com/The Funnel. You can find us on social media, Facebook, @ShayJohnR is my Twitter, and of course I'm on LinkedIn. Contact me, jshay@alignment-group.com, or head on over to the website. A lot of really cool stuff there. While you're heading over to subscribe, check out our library. Again, thank you for subscribing, and as always, keep filling the funnel.